Right then, my lovely people, as always, we will start at the top and at the front. And it's quite simple and minimalistic. That's probably the best way I can put it, because you've got a power switch here, and then the power LED is around the outside of this, and it does light up white, which is a continuing theme around the case. Reset switch here. And I know I can get a little bit nerdy about buttons, but it is a nice positive click. And it's very much, you know, you pressed it. And sometimes the reset buttons, they can be a bit, you have to shove your finger right down inside or find something to push in. And that, if you put your finger over the top, not only can you push it with your finger, but also you can hear and feel that it's done it. And I know that might sound strange, but anyone that's used their reset buttons a lot or had a few different cases will know sometimes a reset button can be a complete pain in the rear end. Anyway, so we've got a headphone and microphone port here, 2 USB 2s, 2 USB 3s. And then that's it. There is nothing else on the roof. Absolutely nothing else. So from this view, that's all we've got. It's a plain white smooth roof. Now I am going to, because I want to try and do this in one go without moving the case, but the front is much of the same. I'm just going to slide the tripod down so that we can see. And you'll notice there, the eagle-eyed amongst you will be like, bloody hell, there is no opticals, and there isn't. Again, from the window side, it is just a smooth front. There's a curve to the edge here. There's a curve to the edge on this side of the case. On the roof, the curve is on this side. It's all very minimalistic. Pretty much the only thing that is on the front of that case, or on the very front of that case, is the NZXT logo at the bottom. I keep hitting the tripod. It's because I loosened it off for that beginning bit. But that's it. That's you know, that's all there is on the front of that case, is that little logo, and then it's just, you know, a blank canvas, and it looks lovely. It's just simple. Now, what we are going to do is I'm going to spin the case around so that we can have a look from the other side. Right, so we're around the back. Now, this is the first time that you're going to be seeing some of the exhaust, or, you know, kind of ventilation holes, whatever you want to call them. These, obviously, in the roof, it's probably going to be an exhaust. Now, they've been fairly hidden so far, because they're here and round this side, a lot on the door side for the roof, and at the front there on the back panel side, which we will get to in a bit. Now you can see we've got the classic 120 and 40 mount from NZXT, and it's one of the sliding ones, and you'll understand why you can move it up and down in a minute, and I'll explain that when we get to the inside. But it's a normal, what I would call now a normal ATX layout. Power supply on the bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 PCI slots, so normal there. We've got a few vents there and some external cable hosing grommets. But to be fair, again, when we get on the inside, I never want to be seeing anyone using these. Now you will see, strangely, because I don't normally do it, I do have a power cable fitted. But what I need to do is I'm going to do this all with you. Let's turn the studio lights off. And then what we do is we turn the system on. Now, at the other end, the white power button has lit up, but there is a little switch just here, and you've got an LED here and an LED up here, which makes it easy for you to get your USBs in. It makes it easy for you to get the you know, any audio cables, or down here, pretty much anything that's going on the back of the case. That's obviously great for. Now that switch does do something else, which I will show you more of in a minute, but I just wanted to properly power it up so that you could see and yeah, get a feel for it. Now I know it's not particularly dark here at the moment, but those lights are very, very white LED lights. They're not kind of yellowy or anything like that, so they are real nice white LEDs actually, and they are relatively bright without being blindingly bright. But it's now time for us to move on. Okay then peeps, so we're around on this side. Now you can see for the first time what I mean about the ventilation holes for the front panel. Now you've got the ventilation holes there, and then there is a grab panel at the front as well, so you can remove that. But I want to do, you know, remove these bits and bobs as we progress. But first things first is the rear panel. The fittings are fixed. You can keep, and I do mean you do have to keep unscrewing, but you don't have to get them out. They will stay there. You can undo a bit, you'll feel it go loose, that's it, and then you can take the side panel off. But the screws are designed to stay. Let me flip the thing around so I can actually see what the camera's seeing. They are designed to stay within the case, but like I said, you can keep screwing and take them out if you really want. But anyway, so that's out. Now, first things really that grab my mind when I open this is this front section, because you'll see that's your mechanical bays. I do need my screwdriver. Oh man, he needs a screwdriver. So, right, the mechanical bays. Now I need my screwdriver because I've put them back in after looking at them, and I've done them up a bit tight. But these are more of you'll see that the screws stay in there. And you mount your hard drive in here. Now you'll see that you've got some rubber washers inside, or rubber mounts inside. Those outer ones are for your mechanicals, if you were to put a mechanical in there, and the smaller ones on the inside would be if you put a solid state drive in there. And the one thing I will say about these is you do pretty much have to push them right the way in so that they got almost to the back before they locate. If you just, you'll see that they have to be right the way in to locate properly. There's no rails or anything on these, but we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hard drive mounts there, and you'll see that there's loads of room between them, so there's going to be plenty of airflow coming in the front of this case. I will say now, I was going to save it for later on, but there are 3 120mm fans in the front of this case, so there is there's a fair amount of fans there. Now we will say 3 120mm fans, woo! And again, this is something I will kind of like talk to you about later on, but what I am going to do is I'm just going to quickly stop the camera and take all of the bays out for later on. So we've taken that bay out, and you can see the 3 120mm fans in the front. There's loads of room there. While we're at this angle, because basically, right, here it is. So you've got the 320mm fans on that side, lovely, and then you've got the plate that they select on the other side. Now generally with optical bays or front bays, you would have 2 panels, and you'd have one on this side, which is still there, and you have one on this side, but this is all open. So essentially this is kind of a hidden area. And also something that we can see here now is the power supply is in the bottom. But this area is also enclosed, and there is a panel on the inside that covers the power supply up. But you've got like this is all kind of like a hidden area. Now I will say from this side, because we can't really see it from the other side, the fans are in there, and then there is another, before we get to the panel, there's another at least 105mm of room. I'm just going to double check this, just so that I can see. There's actually about 120mm of room between the end of the fan and where the power supply cover is, which we will get to in a minute. So I will say that this is all spaced up lovely for a 360mm radiator, which for the price, having that in the front is brilliant. Now I've been screaming for such a long time about no opticals, and people need to remember that there are many ways around it, so you don't need to go absolutely crackers about it. But with 120mm of room, that would mean you could get an 80mm thick radiator in there and another set of fans, so an 80mm thick rad and push pull. And we've not even got round to talking to you about the roof yet. But while we're talking about the back panel, something that I have noticed with this case is you've got the little tabs to put so you can zip tie your fittings, and they are everywhere. There's one there, there's one here, there's one here, there's one here, there's some underneath here because you can see I've used the zip ties. There's 6 in front of the power supply. Something I did like, there's another one right up near the front of the case so that you could wrap your cables all down and round. The main cable points are here, here and here, and they've got grommets on. The ones at the top haven't, but if you have a radiator or one of the AIO coolers, so we could be talking, it's an NZXT case, so we could be talking the X60 up in the roof, or H100i, if you want to talk about Corsair sort of stuff, then that will hide these and you can't see these at all. And you've got a big cable over here, although we didn't use it for our 8-pin because the 8-pin on the power supply that we're using in this build, which is a Silverstone one, is a bit short, but that's in there and we've put it up through the back. But you've got a cable route and hole here, cable route and hole here. There's another one up here where the IO, the front panel stuff comes through for like the USB 3, the USB 2 and the power switches and stuff. But then there's another one further up here as well. So there's the cable management sort of stuff on this, there's loads of it. There really is just stuff kind of hidden everywhere, and also as you'll see when we get a little bit further round, there's a cable hole here which goes up to where one of the solid state ports is, which we'll show you in a little bit. But if you were to use an M80X board, then you've got a couple of cutouts down here which fit in perfectly where your M80X will be. They've done loads, and also these help with fitting cables up. For like your audio always seem to be in a real stupid place up here, but the grommets for the rest of the internal stuff are on the other side. So really from the other side we need to kind of flick it round so I can show you that. Okay then, so window side of the case. The bit that most of you are going to see, you'll see that the window is massive and it pretty much goes up. If you've got an AIO in the roof or a 30mm rad, and you can just see the bottom of the fans at the top, which is pretty much perfect. It stops just before the panel on the other side that we were clipping the hard drives into. But it's nice and deep, so it comes down so that we can see this power supply cover. Also from this side you can see the rest of the ventilation holes at the top. Now they only are here and at the back, there's no more around the other side or anything. I'm just unscrewing the door again, take the door off. Now the door, I did forget to show you on the other side. On the back panel it has got this foam. Now when I've done NZXTs in the past, I have noted on some of them how the sound insulation foam really hasn't been up to scratch, and this is actually quite a nice, I'm not going to say it's dense, but it's got a lovely kind of tactile feel to it. You do want to kind of touch it. The other side panel is completely covered in this. Obviously they've only done this bit down the side of the door. It's the reason why it's got the sound deadening foam in it is a H440, so it's meant to be a part of the Hush range. So we've got that on there, all on the back panel. There is actually some up in the roof as well, which I'll show you in a little bit. Obviously this has now opened up. Just moving the light a little bit. Can I get it better? We'll try there. So it has opened up this kind of internal area. Now, yeah, it's not too bad. I need to keep my head out of it really. So, this little point on the NZXT here, when you turn it on, it does light up. It's a waste of time me turning this on with the studio lights on though, because the camera literally won't see it, and I don't think we need to turn all these off. You've already seen it at the beginning. Now, the other thing is I need to grab the screwdriver, because we do have the solid state drives. Now they're screwed in there, but when you remove them, there are some runners underneath. In fact, we'll zoom you in so that you can see a little bit better what I'm talking about. See down a bit. Whee! Right, so that side, Thomas. You can see the runners there anyway. So if you don't have any solid state drives in there, then it's pretty much a forced design option, this. I would have thought anyone that buys this case is going to end up fitting a couple of solid state drives here, just because they do look so good. The only thing that you will have to kind of keep in mind is most of the stickers will be round the wrong way, because they always seem to face the cables, which is stupid. Solid state drive manufacturers need to turn them round the other way, because, you know, we don't want to be staring at that. But anyway, so in the rest of the case, as I said, we've got a H100 in the roof, and you've got 30mm of room up there, and it is a 360mm mount. So you can get a 30mm thick rad, 360mm long down the end. When you start talking about the front fans, you know, running two together, one thing I will say is that the 360mm rad in the roof fits above the fans in the front, but that doesn't allow for your barbs and your end tanks. So you will have to be, it'll be one of those things that there is room at the bottom of the case for your barbs and stuff, so you may have to run them round the other way. It's not going to be the best thing for bleeding and stuff like that, but there's no reason why you couldn't have a 30mm thick in the roof and do your push-pull and everything in the front. If you did have a monster radiator in the front, and it's going to come out quite far, and you need to kind of think that however far you come out into this part of the case, you will start to cover up a little bit of the last fan. You know, that little bit. It's not going to matter too much, but it is kind of worth mentioning. The rest of the thing from the inside is obviously we've got this panel, which is where the mechanical hard drives would have clipped in, but the rest of it's open, so it's pretty open and free flowing. There's loads of airflow through this, even though it's, like I said, it's the H case, and it's actually it's performed really well. Now what I will do is I'm going to take the roof off, and I do need to do this properly. Right, so the roof comes off, but because you were still zoomed in you didn't see me take it off. The roof comes off, and you can see that we've got sound deadening foam all up in the roof of this as well. Now you can see that is your ventilation in the roof. Now I'm not going to say it's restrictive at all. I'm just going to say it's not the most free-flowing of designs, because obviously you can have completely open designs where the fans would have just been sucking straight in, maybe for an air, dust filter or something. So it's not straight in at the fans, but at the same time it is very quiet. I love the sleek and kind of just simple kind of nature to it, with the vents and stuff around the side. And the thing is, if it's a H case, so the idea would be low fan speeds, quiet operation, especially if you're going to start putting water and stuff in it. So you don't necessarily want 200 CFM pissing through your case. You actually, you're going to want it to be measured and quiet. And whenever I build my rigs, you don't have to have your fans on max. You can tune your system to be very quiet, practically silent, and still perform really well. But we flip the case over, and we can see that we've got 360mm radiator support in the roof, also a 280mm radiator support in the roof. This does mean that it supports the X60, because obviously we need that 280 for the X60, and then we've got 360mm rads, AIOs like this with a 2x 140mm, 2x 120mm rads. It's all awesome. And there is a slight raised area, and this is that little raised bit. It's mil perfect, because there's pretty much exactly 30mm of room at the top of the case. Now I'm trying to see, but because the way the camera's on, but we've got the H100i in the roof, and then a set of fans, which is you've got about 3mm to spare, because the H100i is 27mm. So that's why it fits a 30mm thick radiator in the roof perfectly, and by perfectly I mean it's literally at the motherboard point, so it's spot on. In the front, we've now taken the front panel off, which again was just pulled off. We've got more sound deadening foam at the front. It's the same stuff. It's actually really nice. I'm at the point where, because I'm quite a fan of the Fractal kind of bitumen, but it is very heavy. But this still gives, you know, the case a nice, you know, heavy, weighty feel without being over the top. The 360mm fans that are in the front, let me see if I can zoom you out. There we go. I'll bring you down a little bit. I'm doing this and sat in front of the camera, so apologies for the shaking. But anyway, we've got that. Those 320mm fans come with the case. The rear 140mm fan on the inside come with the case. So it does come with all 4 fans. This is just a case of, it's magnetic, but there's also a little catch at the bottom. So you can kind of slide it into place and then all the magnets hold it in. Nice dust filter. The fact it does cover all 3. It's the main, the main intake for the case. There's not really any ventilation ports anywhere else. And like I said, it is dust filtered. And the fact that it covers all 3, wonderful. The mesh on the side here is quite big open mesh, so you shouldn't worry about dust building up inside that, but it is going to be fairly easy for you to be able to get your hoover in and clean it. You've also got an open section at the bottom, which is pretty much what I use to grab it, like a hand grab, but that's going to be another ventilation point for you too as well. And it all does just go back with a lovely kind of clunk click, all kind of very positive feeling. And it's not, some roofs and stuff can be really fiddly and stuff to get on, and you know, bit of a tap, it's lovely. And I just realised you didn't see me put the roof on at all. Right, so putting the roof on, it's so simple to fit on. You can just get it lined up when I'm not being an idiot. Right, so you just get it lined up and then you can just give it a press and it's on. It's, like I said, it's got a real nice kind of feel to it, because you've got the roof itself is plastic, but then it's wrapped. The white is still steel, which is what gives it its weight, and obviously with the sound deadening foam as well, it gives it a real nice kind of sturdy feel without weighing a ton. And the fact that it's smooth powder, you know, white gloss powder coat as well, feels lovely. There's lots about this case that I do really like. So obviously, just to recap, I'm going to drop you down a little bit. It's a difficult place that I'm trying to film with today because of the way the lights have to be, because obviously we're in the front room. But graphics cards, you're not going to have a problem. You should get the longest graphics cards in there. All you're going to need to think about is, you know, the amount of room from the front of the case to that. And just kind of think about, if we grab if you want to keep the graphics card within where the power supply cover is, you're looking at about 300mm, and you won't encroach on this. If your graphics card's any longer than 300mm, that just might make a little bit of a difference depending on the maximum size of the radiator width that you could fit in the front, or maybe you'd have to not have push pull or something. But the fact that we've got these solid state drives, we've also got, just to kind of show you, a lot of people nowadays seem to like having their graphics cards wired straight up the side. I always put them around the side like this, that go around there, but there is a cable hole there that you can bring your power supply, or your PCI Express, whatever you want to call them, your power supply, PCI Express cables up, so that you can wire them and then have them straight down. A lot of people seem to do that with their braid, so it makes a little bit of a feature of their power supply braiding. You've got a cable routing hole there, that's lovely. You've also got cable routing holes at the back to be able to stick your SATA data cables and your SATA powers through. One thing I will say though is if you are planning to run 2 of these, I would run 2 separate SATA cables so that you use just the very end one, because we've put one in here for the minute, and then obviously you have the one that needs to go to the next one, and it can raise them up. So if you go to build yours, fit 2 SATA cables into your power supply, and then just use the very end one for one SATA cable, for one SSD, and then use the other right at the very end for the other SSD, and it will just help keep things over here that little bit more tidy. And obviously you've got acres of this to be able to hide all your cables, because, you know, underneath this, if we spin it round, now you've kind of seen a little bit better. You've got all of this space underneath here that you can hide your power supply cables. Now, this isn't going to make me say, oh, just go and buy a non-modular power supply. I will still always use the least amount of cables possible, but it does mean that you can try and make a better job. Also around this side that I didn't mention to you, we've got like the 3-pin hub. Now, you have the input and you have all the outputs, and it depends on what you put in to what you get out, but it's wired up with a 12. So if you want to for argument's sake, we've got a fan speed reducer on this one going off to the 2 in the roof, but you could always use a fan speed reducer on the other one. So there you go. And where's the input on it? I can never remember where the input on it is. Anyway, so you've got that splitter there, which is dead handy, does help keep things tidy, but obviously one thing that you do need to really keep in mind is it does mean that you have to have all your fans, or, you know, a lot of your fans are all going to end up going into one point. So when you do build your case, please keep in mind that you don't have to use this just because it's there. If it looks untidy and you're having to route stuff and add extensions and stuff, just take it out. We've used it today to show you, you know, that it's there. It is a lovely feature. But like I said, the point I'm trying to make is just because it's there, you don't necessarily have to use it. And then we've got the switch at the top here, which is for the LEDs. And there's this cable here that goes all the way up and round. This is for the LEDs on the power supply cover. One thing I will say with the power supply cover as well is that would obviously be open to modding. You could, for example, if you wanted to, change the colour of the LEDs back there to make it a little bit more of a different feature and stuff like that. So yeah, we've covered that, because I needed to come back round here to show you because I'd not done it. But it's all there, it's all rather nice. Yeah, I think really, I'm starting to kind of ramble and go round in circles about stuff, so we need to break off and we need to move on to a rather meaty conclusion. Right then peeps, on to the conclusion. The lights do seem all over the place today. Again, I'm not really enjoying filming in the front room, and it's all buggered. I don't think the t-shirt's helping. But anyway, so, conclusion. Price-wise, NZXT have told me, so obviously these aren't in the shops yet. I mean, I'm filming this and it's not even out yet. Do you know what I mean? You guys don't even know what this is. But the prices I'm being told are $149 in the US. Roughly 109 euros in Europe, but it's the GBP price that's still kind of a bit up in the air at the moment, because we're expecting something between 95 and 99 pounds, so under 100 quid, and that's under 100 quid's fucking awesome for this. And before we start kind of breaking into the awards, into the main review, I need to get the award out of the way. Now, just for the sake of, I've just realised I haven't pushed it on properly, just for the sake of the award that people are so used to seeing, I'm going to give it the Gold Award. But there's also an award that I made up about 18 months ago, and I have to admit, I've never found a case that kind of ticked enough boxes for me that made me want to use it. Some cases have come just horrifically close. The Corsair 540 come close to getting it, but because of where the mechanical hard drive bays were in the bottom and it was visible, and if you didn't use them you had big holes in the floor, that was the reason why I didn't use it. But it's called the TTL White Gold Award, and obviously the 540, the white gold is just because it's a different colour gold. I didn't want to go the platinum route because everyone's got fucking platinum, and it's just, I wanted to do something different, so it's white gold. And the white gold is the award above our normal gold, and it's the one that you'll hardly ever see. Like I said, the Corsair came close, and obviously it was a black case, so it doesn't have to be a white case. The Corsair came close, very close. I really did like that case, but there was a couple of little niggles. It wasn't quite perfect. I'm going to give the NZXT H440, for the first time I've ever used it, the TTL White Gold Award. And it's not because it's white. There is going to be a black version where this bit is red and the black bits on it are all red. I'll give that the White Gold Award as well, so it doesn't, you know, the colouring doesn't matter. First of all, and the bit that really stuck with me, and it was one of the first times I've kind of gone, and I was excited and kind of very kind of appreciative, and that's not the word I'm looking for, but it was the first time I kind of I'd seen a manufacturer take a bit of a punt, and that's getting rid of the optical bays. I've not really seen a case where there isn't some kind of optical bay choice in the front. And obviously we have got, you know, you can fit fan controllers and you can fit, you know, all other things in the front, but I fucking hate optical drives. So the fact that NZXT have gone, no, we're not going to do it because it's going to ruin the front of the case. We ain't having none of that. What we're going to do instead is just give people a fucking huge radiator in the front instead. Thank you. It's just like they've practically made this for me, really, because it's just like that's gone. There's loads of radiator choices in it. You can still have your mechanicals in the front if you want. If not, rip them out. And what I would probably do would be have a big radiator in the front, radiator in the roof, hide my reservoir and stuff out the way, and then try and literally minimise everything so you can't fucking see anything. And it'd be lovely. I mean, there's no doors swinging. But the other thing that we need to remember here is it's a water cooling case that can hold all of these bits, but it's still been designed for silence. Now, long gone are the days of the H2, which I still stand, that was a stupid NZXT case. This, the H440, is just, it's like it's from a different manufacturer. And something else that I'm going to say that might kind of create kind of shockwaves is NZXT, over the last couple of 3 years, at least the last 24 months, have come on in leaps and bounds with their designs. They've really kind of pulled their socks up, and they had a lot of fans and stuff in the past, but a lot of people thought they were a bit of, you know, they made kind of all right stuff, but it was cheap and it was flimsy, and some of the designs just, they weren't all there. Not any fucking more, peeps. Especially since the Switch 810, which I personally loved, and I gave that one of my Case of the Year awards. I know the Phantoms really sell, but the designing doesn't work for me. But all the little features and stuff that NZXT are starting to bring in, they're brilliant. And to kind of put things into perspective, and this is going to be the point where certain people are not going to like what I'm going to say, but certain other people, you know, might revel in it. But this isn't meant as to diss a manufacturer. But it's more of an expression on how far I think NZXT come. The current NZXT case lineup, I actually probably personally prefer over the Cooler Master stuff. And that is going to be a big shock for a lot of people. But if you think about it, you had the enormous Cosmos 2, could only get a 30mm radiator in the roof. Through £250 case, that big, but you could only get a skinny rad in the roof. It only needed to be a few mil taller, and it was that big already. Now, I know you're now thinking, oh yeah, but you can only get a 30mm rad in the roof for this. Yeah, you can, but it's less than £100. It's a cheap, you know, it's not an expensive case by any stretch of the imagination, whereas the Cosmos 2 was. The Cosmos SE, it was all a bit half-arsed with fucking fans being covered up, and it didn't look right. It's like a lot of their cases now are, they just, there's too many niggly problems with them. The half stacker, so many problems with that, I didn't even want to review it. And it's almost like NZXT have come striding in, and the difference is, and this is this really is the point that makes NZXT different, is they've got people working for them now that actually are enthusiasts as well. So that the people designing it aren't, you know, little, you know, people locked up in an office in China somewhere. There's people just sat around in LA, do you know what I mean, and chilling out, living the lifestyle, but that like computers, and finally you can start to see all of these enthusiast touches starting to come through into the mainstream products. So this is the point when you need to kind of get focus groups can be brilliant, but you've only got to get the wrong mix of people in that focus group and you end up with a crappy product. If you copy what modders are doing, you quite often end up with a product that modders love, but the mainstream market won't particularly like. MATX Prodigy. Brilliant for a modder because they make everything fit. Give it to normal people, it just doesn't look right, and it's, you know, too messy, and, you know, things get messed up. This is pretty much, I can't express enough, and I'm really struggling for the words how much I like this, and how much I like the fact that they are starting to, you know, really make massive changes. I mean, the fact that we've now, everyone at one point was modding a power supply cover into their rig. So NZXT have kind of seen that, but they've not only have they just put it in a rig, but they've done it in a way that actually works, rather than, you know, just, oh, we've done it for the sake of it because we think that's what we should do. This does actually work. The one little niggle throughout this whole case that I don't particularly like is the solid state drives. The fact that if you don't use them, you've pretty much got to leave the brackets there or have those little holes. But obviously the way around that is smash a couple of solid state drives in. You can get small ones cheap enough, put them in RAID 0, boom, done, lovely. But the thing that we need to kind of express more than anything is you've got a silent case with sound deadening. You've got a massive window, big clear window. You've got water cooling support in both the front and the roof. It will fit every AIO on the market, apart from the ones that are thicker than 30mm. So it won't fit the H105, but it will fit the H100i. It will fit, you know, all of the other ones. 30mm thick 360 in the roof, whatever thickness 360 you want in the front, and all of that for under 100 quid. It's probably, no, actually, not probably, it is the best case on the market under £100 at the moment, and this pretty much has been the mid-tower water cooling case that I've been screaming out for such a long time. It's unbelievable. And like I said, I mean, you know, once you kind of look at it and see all the clean lines, it's, you know, it's really nicely designed. It's not garish and OTT gamery, alien-y, you know, like landing-fied like the Phantom is. It's bloody lovely. I love it. And like I said, the fact that the first time I've ever given it, and like I said, I made the award probably 18 months ago. It was before I'd even bought OC3D. I had that white gold award made up. So I'm going to get the gold award because it's just the one, when it goes on their website and people are going to be looking for it, gold's what people think is the best. But for all of those of you out there in YouTube land and on the forums and Facebook and all that kind of shit, this stands out for me, and that's why I've given it the white gold award. And that's a mixture of obviously the fact that it's not got opticals, because we don't need them anymore, so thank you. But don't forget, it's TTL's white gold award, so it's my, you know, it's my own personal like of this case. So we've got the no opticals. Price is brilliant. Size, it's not enormous. Water cooling support, and then obviously that price. The fact that they've managed to do all of this and put a smile on my face without wanting to empty my pocket is just, that's why, really. And it's one of those ones I am now struggling to get my words out, and I know I'm going around in circles because I'm struggling to focus and, you know, express all of this. So absolutely fucking awesome case, NZXT, to the point where it's like, for the size and stuff, I'm almost of the opinion it's one of the best cases, if not the best case you've ever made. So yeah, thoroughly love it. Couldn't really say anything more positive about it, to be fair, guys and girls. So if you've got 100 quid and you need a case but you want a water cool as well, this should be the absolute fucking top of your list of cases to look at before you even go and think about any of the other ones. So for now at least, this is Tiny Tom Logan with the Gold Award winning and the TTL White Gold Award winning NZXT H440 out. Ding! Ding, 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 ding. Lots of dings, make up for all the ones I missed. Ding, 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 ding.